What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 178 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Octopath Traveler!
You're playing right now. You're in a boss fight.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm up against Ophelia's boss here.
How you feeling? You think you're gonna take him down?
I got him down. I got what? I got 3 of his 5 vulnerabilities exposed right now, and I'm just pop.
You got that spinny thing going on around his head?
Yeah,
right
he's not ready to fight me right now.
right
You know,
now.
he's like, what's
Seeing
going
birdies.
on? Yeah,
That's how it happens.
yeah.
And then, of course, once again joining us, Jared Petty.
Hi, glad to be here. Well, thank you.
We got the Cool Greg clap for that one. Cool Greg on the boards, on the ones and twos, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Kevin
Thank you.
setting up for a stream we're doing Monday. Very excited about all
Very
of
exciting
that.
stream.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast each and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We get to talk about video games, all the things that we love about them. This has been quite the week in video games.
What a week for video
Lots of games coming out on today, actually, as of recording, Thursday, July 12th, is when a lot of them are actually coming out. Review embargoes going up. So usually it doesn't line up with our Gamescast schedule.
Yeah.
This is actually very nice. That we can talk about the games instead of just being like, oh, I'm playing something.
I'm doing something.
I can't let you know what I'm doing.
Maybe a kind of funny game too.
If you want to support us, you get the show early by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You can watch it live for just $1. Just $1 a month allows you to watch 4 episodes in that month, sometimes 5.
For the mere price of
All
a
that
Chevy
stuff.
Volt.
For $1. Chevy Volt's $1?
Sure. Don't listen to that. Just go.
Just ignore Jared and
For the
keep
Chevy
going.
Volt price, which I assume is closer to $25,000, you can get a lot more than that.
Just put your YouTube comment in right now. Just drop it right there.
Yeah, or just drop the YouTube comment. That's free to do. You can do that. That's fun. Or if you want to listen to us on podcast services, you can do that too, including Spotify now. That's pretty cool. Cool, Greg, are we on Tidal yet?
That's it. We're getting damn close.
We're getting damn close.
What's title?
Jay-Z's streaming service.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they do podcasts. Do they do podcasts?
Only exclusive ones.
Only exclusive ones. Yeah.
The cool Greg effect. The cool Greg effect.
Yeah,
That could be the
yeah.
one for him.
Oh, man. Let's just get right into
Oh,
it, though.
shit, this
Patreon
motherfucker's
producer
powering
Tom
up.
Bach, Patreon producer Eric Heitz, the men, the myths, the legends. Both of them are fantastic people that helped this show happen. Let's talk about it, Greg.
Okay.
Octopath Traveler.
It's here. Finally, the review embargo up today. People ready to download it tomorrow as of our recording. Obviously, everybody freaking out. Everybody freaking out about the reviews today as well. I've been playing it.
Yep.
I like it. That's what, you know what I mean? It's what we talked about last time I was on the Gamescast. Of course, I wasn't here last week. Thanks for taking over, boys. But you know, Jared, you talked to me about it. I asked you the question basically of like, it takes a very particular JRPG that I can get into, I should say, actually. It's a very particular JRPG that I can get into. And you talked about this and what you liked from the demo, and obviously I've heard everyone in the audience loving it. We've seen it, obviously, at a million directs where I look at it, I'm like, that game looks great. I just don't know if it'll be for me. And, you know, you laid it out, and I was like, if I have no nostalgia for an SNES Final Fantasy or something like that, right? Or any kind of JRPG in that time frame, is it going to be something I'd like? And you said, I think so. Yeah. And so, yeah, I had it downloaded ready, and on the flight back from Canada last week I started it, and it was that thing. I had a 6-hour flight,
Okay.
and so I was like, I'm just gonna play this on the flight, and so started in, and I'm coming in pretty much completely blind outside of the demos we've seen.
Okay, but you haven't played the demos.
Correct.
The past ones.
I meant demos we've seen on like
In
Nintendo
directs and
Directs.
stuff, yeah. So you did not play the demo. You did
Exactly.
not play the prologue, whatever.
And I didn't do the whole thing of like, you know, I knew obviously 8 paths, 8 different characters. They all have their own little stories, their own little reasons for it. And starting off, I did no research, you know what I mean? I didn't know what any of the characters are. I'm going through who they all are and what their abilities are and what like the gist of their story is. And I was like, all right, this Primrose story seems super interesting. Right? And so if you're like, everybody has their own different stories and setups. Primrose's setup, right, is that she, as a child, saw her dad murdered by 3 dudes that each had a crow tattoo somewhere on their body. And then she, you know, was like lost at it, but her life's goal and mission now is to take down these fucking 3 guys that killed her dad. And so eventually she finds out that, you know, one keeps coming to this like, basically, they don't say this obviously.
Strip club.
It's a dancers club.
A dance
right?
hall.
With private shows, and like, it's a whorehouse, right? And so she's like, I'm going to fucking become a dancer. I'm going to become a stripper, a whore, whatever you want to put in there. And work in these horrible conditions for this horrible, creepy fucking man that probably
Who looks like such that guy.
He's
It's
totally
like his design.
He's like, you come
it's
back
like,
for me for my private shows.
How do you do
Jesus.
that with a figure this small?
But
on
you
a
look at
screen?
him and you're like,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that is a
you're a
rapist.
creepy
That is
fuck.
what a creepy
He
old
has that
rapist
nose,
looks like.
you know what I mean?
And
Rapist
so
nose.
like,
Ugh.
jumping into that like immediately, I'm like, wow, that's some dedication to catching your dad's killers that you're gonna go be, and we'll just say dancer at this point. But again, the subtext of everything here is that it's a full service.
It's more than subtext.
Brothel.
Though. Like they're pretty.
I think
pretty
at the end, he calls her a whore at the end. I took
that's not even
screenshots.
at the end. It's pretty early.
Oh, really? I'm thinking of like the conclusion of their thing here, right?
Because this was the same storyline that I started with in the demo.
Oh, really?
And now that I'm redoing it, like I'm most interested in her, so I started as that one again. So I'm pretty fresh.
You know, as this is the guy Helganesh, right? He's yelling at her. That naughty mouth of yours belongs to me. Put it where it belongs, and if you please me to my satisfaction. ... Who do you think you're speaking to, whore? You know what I mean? Like, he's laying it all out. I'm like, she calls him master and all this stuff. And she's in like the like dancing, like the I Dream a Genie, like my belly's exposed, very like you see through outfits.
I love that all of the dancers are all in the same outfit, but like she's in red, and then her friend's in blue, and then the rest of them are just all green. It's like you guys are NPCs.
I think that's very evocative of old RPGs. Actually. That's a place where they're deliberately hopping back, because you do have things like you have the dance scene in a couple of other games where you're going to see situations that are supposed to be considered tawdry or brothel-like, and you'll see those dancers kind of in the background. But even earlier, like pixel art era. Before that, you're going to see a lot of that. So what drew you to that? The idea of a revenge story?
It sounded like the most adult, not in the winky sense, but like the most like mature storyline there of like, wow, what for a character, the dedication to have that, right? Of like, all right, cool, I'm going to go on deep undercover into this seedy lifestyle and be treated as a sub by my master and a slave by my master.
See, that's interesting, because I went with the scholar storyline, and this is pretty much about a guy whose boss doesn't like him and lost a book. And I actually have.
You're like, I can connect to this.
But I've appreciated. Yes.
I've lost a book.
I've lost a book, and my boss doesn't like me. Exactly. I've popped into that situation. I like when RPGs like Octopath Traveler give you these. Everything kind of feels like a side quest in a way, but it all comes together and feels like a sum of more than its parts. Suikoden 2, which I've evoked many times, is really good at that. It doesn't feel like you're saving the world. It feels like you're saving your life. It feels like you're dealing with your issue. Octopath Traveler leans really heavily into that. People have talked about why wasn't this a Final Fantasy game? I think there are two reasons for that. One, because Final Fantasy games traditionally are about a big elemental evil you have to destroy. Second, I think that Square Enix realized that it might be time to if you have an Octopath Traveler and it takes off and it's really good, then you can have a 2 and a 3 and an Octopath Traveler Gaiden and an Octopath Traveler Monsters and and you can start a new IP, and they managed to do that, and it looks like successfully.
Reviews are positive right now. I think the most damning, in quotes, one I've seen, right, is Jason Schreier's, which is basically like, it's pretty, what you see is what you get, easy to get into. It's not that engaging, but he liked it still, right? And that's the boilerplate version of a very long, lengthy, good review from Jason. I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like Primrose, oh my God, I'm so into. And then when I finished chapter 1 of her story, and it's like, cool, there's more chapters of the story, obviously, but you should get everybody else first. I'm 10 hours into the game right now. I should actually stop because I don't want to fuck up my game clock. I'm 10 hours in right now, right? Walking around, getting all the other characters and joining all them. And what I'm finding is what you're talking about of like, I'm running into some of these people, I'm like, all right, cool. My dad got killed, and I've been having to fuck my master for a while. It really sucks that you just want to be an apothecary to everyone. You want to be you want to be a world famous apothecary, and you're clearly in love with your best friend. Who's okay, whatever.
It's interesting because I'm right there with you, where the Primrose storyline like is the most interesting one to me that I've seen, and like because I played the other demo. I forgot the other dude's name, but like months ago when I played through his first chapter, and then. When I started playing now, I started as someone else. And I was like, I want to go back to Primrose. And it's funny because I'm seeing online a lot of people do not like her story.
Really?
They're just like, oh, it's so top level and so just like trite and like the same story we've seen a million times. And I totally agree, but it's like, there's something.
It's a revenge tale
about it. Yeah, I'm like, I'm here for this. I like this, and even though it's like pretty predictable when it comes to the dialogue and stuff, this game to me is kind of the sum of its parts of aesthetics, and I love that it sounds as good as it looks. I love that it's like actual orchestration, and the voiceover is perfect. to me, where it's like
expound.
just the right level of cheese.
It's fitting what it was trying to be.
Exactly. It's fitting what it's trying to be. And I love how much VO is in it.
Yeah.
And I love how you can skip it. It's pretty quick. And so it's like, it kind of allows you to play the game and experience it how you want to, which is great because I feel like all the parts that I would play old games back in the day and be like, oh, I wish this had VO. Like even for something like Final Fantasy X, it had a lot of VO, but a lot of stuff didn't. I feel like in this game, everything that should have it, even if it's not in a cutscene, does. Otherwise, it does the kind of Fire Emblem style, like,
I'm with you there. Now, and I love that. I love the fact that I can get just as much story as I want, that there's a ton of story going on, and not just story being told through the dialogue, but story being told through immersive storytelling, through the world that I'm in, looking around and seeing this place obviously has reasons for the way that it's shaped the way it is, the reason that this is happening, the reason this pathway or this building is here or this person is standing here. Those things all make sense. But I hate when games are so chatty and there's no way out of it.
Yeah.
And this one gives me exactly the amount of exposure I prefer.
Just hold B, right, and the little thing fills in. You can skip everything. And it was like, I'm only using that like the one time I died and came back and I had to listen to the boss again. I was like, all right, well, fuck, skip all this. But it is that it's what I like about it and what's interesting about it is, okay, maybe I don't connect with every story, or not even connect isn't the right word. Maybe there's not as engaging as I think how deep Primrose's is in terms of like, wow, there's a lot of weight to this, right? What I do like about it is that it kind of has a Justice League vibe to it, or any ensemble performance where I like when. All right, we did Primrose's, right? And then when I went to, and the name's escaping me right now too, but then when I went to basically the girl who's Aloy, she's she's got the bow and arrow and she's in like the tribal thing, and they're talking like Norse mythology. They're talking very like Thor, right? It was like, oh fuck, this is kind of like, I can see it all coming together of it being the Avengers, where I'm playing everybody's intro movie to get them together to go do what we're going to do.
It's kind of like, oh, I love Spider-Man, which is Primrose in this case. But you're just like, why the fuck would I ever want to watch a Doctor Strange movie? But then when you do give it the shot, you're like, oh, this totally works.
And I also love how there's a kind of a mix between gravity and goofiness there.
Sure.
And that's something Japanese games have always done, sometimes with more success than others. I think it works pretty well here. You can have something that's completely wacky right next to something that's completely melodramatic, and they both work. You go back to, you were talking about Final Fantasy VII earlier, and this is a great example of that. You know, Aerith dies, like just murdered, butchered, speared right in front of you, and then you drop her into the water, and then immediately it's time to go snowboarding and fall down the mountain, and it's just like ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And those things are right next to each other. This game has that spirit to it, and sometimes it's a little jarring, but for some reason there's so much darn charm, it still works.
But the way they do it, right? I feel like I can go from Primrose's like Batman dark and gritty story to Alf, I'm the apothecary or whatever, right? And it really just is like, man, an apothecary came through once and was really cool. And again, I'm clearly in love with you, my best friend, also apothecary. But I'm sure this game won't ever address that because of it's very Japanese. But like, all right, cool. But it's like, the way, since they all are compartmentalized, I'm interested to see when we are assembled and we do move on and to see what it is, the interactions between them, if there are any, of how it goes.
No, definitely. I cannot wait to play more of it. The one thing that I kind of have an issue with is the boss fights can be kind of challenging, which is good.
Yeah.
But when you lose, I feel like there's way too much dialogue before boss fights. And well, even then though, it's like it's little quality of life things where I'm just like, like I remember like Kingdom Hearts 1 had this huge issue where there'd be these crazy long cutscenes before boss fights and you couldn't skip them. And they addressed that in future games, which is great. I just hate that now when there's a game that's kind of styled after games even before that, where it's like now it's cutscenes and dialogue where it is all just text based, and there should just be you obviously saw this, you died. Start at the boss fight.
And let's touch on a couple of other things that may be obvious to us, but that we kind of skipped over in the discussion. By the way, it's beautiful. Lord, it's gorgeous. It's ridiculously accessible as JRPGs go. It does not take long to figure out how to play this game and to get a handle on the combat. The combat is just deep enough to be engaging, but not so deep that it feels overwhelming.
For me, it's it's turn-based combat, which I'm sure most of you knew, but I'm going to explain this to a lot of people, I'm sure, for the first time who don't play JRPGs. For me, you're talking about quality of life things. And again, in terms of my video game pedigree or whatever, JRPGs, a very shallow pool, mainly made up by Persona games, right? For me, I love the system they're using here in the way that the vulnerabilities, once I discover them for the character, are chronicled beneath them on the bar. And when you use the vulnerabilities, you'll see a shield next to them, right? Which is how many times they're shielded. If you use enough if it says 5 and you use 5 of their vulnerabilities, turn over turn, you get a break where they're sitting there with the things over their head where they won't attack you. Mm-hmm. Quality of life wise, for me, Persona has this. And again, I can only compare it to Persona really, right? In terms of, I've put hundreds of hours into Persona games. Persona has that where you scan the character, you know their weaknesses. But for me, the problem always was, all right, cool. If I'm not like playing it day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, I'd forget. Like, oh wait, what's there? And you have to go into you have to go into a menu to find out what's. There's a call up a button, to get that report. And I always hated that. I always wish I could just see it. So to see it at a glance here, especially for a game that I did 5 hours of on the plane or whatever, 6 hours of on the plane, then put down, then woke up the next day, played for another hour, then took a couple days off, then came. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't found the problem I have with a lot of JRPGs of like getting dropped back into a dungeon and being like, wait, fuck, what?
Oh, it had
How
to
does
be
this
that
work?
way to work on Switch.
Exactly.
They seem to have really understood that.
Yeah.
We had somebody write into Games Daily this morning and talking about, hey, will this ever be on PS4? I don't know, but this was a game that was obviously designed with this
to be a
portable experience.
Yeah.
I think about you ever play Crisis Core? I mean, that's a game that was made to be on PSP.
Yeah,
and it takes advantage of the fact that you can play in little chunks, little 3 to 5 minute bits.
Right.
And this one definitely, while it's a very long game, can be broken up in almost any way.
Yeah, totally.
And remain engaging.
And I like how they do that with the chapters with each character.
Yep.
Like, not only having so many different characters, but being able to break up and continue along the storyline you're going with, or jump around and kind of go through. I like that. It is very conducive to handheld play.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And going off what you're talking about with the break modes and stuff and being able to see the vulnerabilities, like, I totally agree. Because it's like, usually in RPGs, some character will learn the ability to scan and figure out shit.
Yep.
But I like that that is the battle system for this. It is totally working around this break mechanic, and it's satisfying as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do this year because we've got this, which I haven't played nearly as much of as I want to. And then we got Dragon Quest XI coming, which is another turn-based 6 trillion hour JRPG that's going to be excellent. And
now that's not portable though, right?
What? No, that's not yet. It will be on Switch, but it's coming out first on PS4 and PC.
Okay.
And those are the two places you'll be able to play in the beginning. And I honestly will probably play at both places because Dragon Quest is my jam.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to both of these because they are from a similar kind of DNA,
Sure.
even though they are not going to be identical experiences. Dragon Quest, if you can believe it, is even more accessible in general than something like Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
It really is just designed so that anyone can play and enjoy it, and I like that about it. But I feel like that anybody that owns a Switch and has ever even thought about a JRPG, this is a great place to hop in. It has such a great DNA lineage. It's a little bit of Lunar in there and a little bit of Final Fantasy in there.
I love the way that they're making things easy to go back to and make me want to go back to, right? Because again, so I was playing on the plane. I'm going to play all 5 hours of this flight or whatever because we had the tailwind. We were going faster than 6 hours. And we're going to, do this. And it was that first thing where, all right, cool. I'm having fun this first hour, but also Luminous is on here. And 4 hours of Luminous sounds real. And I was like, no, fucking keep going. You know what I mean? And it did that thing where I got through Primrose's story, get the next character, and then you learn it. Like, Primrose's ability, right, is that she can like charm somebody to come along and then summon them in battle and whatever. But then to get the next and realize that every character has a path ability that like all of a sudden it was, like, if somebody's blocking a door, I've got this guy or the Aloy character, right, that can bring out a beast that can attack them and knock them out, so I can get through. And it was like, oh fuck! When I started, I got a few of those, and it was like, okay, let's go all the way back to town one.
Yeah.
Oh, I can steal from people now. Let's steal from everybody we can and get all the stuff.
And that's cool that stuff affects both the overworld and the battle system. And like, I just love that, man. I feel like they really paid attention to. Obviously, it's in the name of the Octopath Traveler. Like, the characters matter a lot, but I love that it's thought of not just for one side of the gameplay.
I'd love to sit down with the developers and ask them this question. There's a Ultima and Wizardry are two series that very heavily influenced early Japanese RPG development, especially like turn-based console RPGs. And Ultima 4, which is one of the most influential RPGs in America and Japan in all of history, is about 8 very distinctive characters that all have special abilities scattered around a world. And depending on how you answer a quiz at the beginning of the game, literally a personality quiz.
That's awesome.
You play as one of them, and then you got to go find the other 7, and they join you and become your party. And everybody has this unique thing they bring to it. I really do wonder if that's where they started with the idea for Octopath Traveler. I'd like to find out.
Yeah. In terms of complaints, I guess, or just not problems even, but like, you know, things, right? I do feel like what the people were saying about Primrose, even what I'm talking about, it is very surface level, right? Where I'm so engaged with her that other people I am a little bit like, all right, Ophelia, like, all right, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather just focus on one. When I, again, not knowing anything other than it's beautiful and everybody says I'm going to love it, jumping in, I thought it was going to be like, oh man, do you have to play eight playthroughs of this game to really get what it's about? You know what I mean? So to jump in and be like, as soon as chapter 1 finished for her, be like, all right, cool, find everybody else before you go on. Really, it's like, oh, okay, so I am getting everybody's experience.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. My only real criticism of it in terms of things is I don't like the map at all. I find myself like when it's like, cool, like I clearly have to go find the next town over here to get Ophelia or whatever. It's like, all right, that looks up or whatever, and then I'm like kind of wandering around. And granted, you have to find the signposts that then go up like that, and it's just like, I feel like there should have been a better way to do this. And not that I'm rarely avoiding battles. It's random battles, obviously, as you go through the map world. It is that annoyance of like, all right, cool, I'm going, I went the wrong way, double back, fuck, something found me. All right, cool, I gotta fight you right now. All right, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I love the dungeon designs though.
Yeah.
Like for all the dungeons that I've played, like I just love the look of them and I
Sure,
love how they're
they're
laid
beautiful,
out.
yeah.
And it does the thing that RPGs do best when you know you're enjoying it is when you see that treasure chest.
Oh, yeah.
And on the side,
Oh, yeah.
you're like,
How the fuck
man,
did I get there?
that's way out of my way.
I'm gonna get it,
But I'm
though.
fucking
I'm doing
getting
That is
Yeah.
the most Square Enix thing ever.
Yeah.
Like that, to have that chest, this poking in at that goes all the way back again, like Dragon Quest 1. Have you ever played the original Dragon Quest? You know, again, deep in the history of this company, and I just love this. You have the castle that you start in, and there's like one tile of water, one little river, and on the other side is the end of the game. Like sitting like 3 squares away on the map is the bad guy's castle. And you start right next to it, but there's a river between you and it. And the entire game is a journey around to that thing. But from the very first moment, you can see that they are so good at that. They've been doing this since the 1980s, and they still manage to find ways to dangle that in front of your nose. I think more than anything else, that's why people hated Final Fantasy 13, was because it didn't feel that way. You never felt like there was a big world you were
one
getting
hallway
to.
that you're just going down
Yeah.
the entire time.
15 nails that, and this, and I do think a lot of it's just where the camera is, gives you so many opportunities to do that.
Oh, sure.
And I think we've forgotten that it's not just about pixel art style. When you pull a camera out, you can do things in a game you cannot do when you're close in. And Octopath Traveler illustrates that.
And that's the thing of like, yeah, especially have you played Ophelia's stuff? Like, you know, hers is in this like giant church or whatever, like that's ornate and has all this, you know, the flame of the Traveler or whatever the hell it's called on the front or the back. Like when I got it and it was like, all right, cool, and they let me free roam it for the first time, I was like, all right, cool. And I'm going into rooms expecting there to be a character, a treasure chest. There isn't. And it's just like, wow, you built this room just to make it seem alive and cool. And then like to walk up to the priest or the clergyman at the front and then go behind him to the flame and have like the wall kind of come in and fade away. I was like, this is okay. There's a chest there, but it's like, you made a very detailed level here just to make it seem real and alive.
I love the choices they make on when to have it be pixel art and when to have it be more like cinematic lighting and like when to use real flames versus like pixel flames. It's just like, it just makes the world so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And like, I love that they made a game that like backs up that quality of style.
Yeah.
Right. Cause I feel like it'd be super easy for them to just put something out that looks cool. But
Sure.
this is something more than that.
I think it might be the most artistically interesting. I think it is the most artistically interesting Square Enix game since Final Fantasy Tactics. It does really neat things with art, and I haven't seen them take a risk in that direction this extreme in a long time. I think it really pays off. This is a game that deserves to succeed.
Yeah, and I think it's going to. I mean, obviously, IGN gave it a 9.2. Like, I mean, it seems like it obviously.
Seth Macy, shut up.
Exactly. Hype's been there for it, and I think it's deservedly so. And it's what's fun for me and interesting for me, again, after everything we're talking about here, is the fact that I feel like when I inevitably do fall away, because it was the thing of, all right, cool. It was very much my plan originally for Fortnite, right? Where I was like, oh, I'll play it on the Switch when we're doing stuff and then leave it alone. Where, all right, we landed and I'm finally home. I'm finally at the TV. I'm going to sit down and play the Life is Strange tie-in, Captain Underpants. We can never remember the fucking name of it. I've been dying for more Fortnite. I'm going to play Fortnite and wake up that morning and be like, fuck, I'm going to put Project Octopath on the giant I've been playing it in handheld the entire time. Now I'm going to plug it in and go and like just sit there and play it and have Jen be like, this voice acting is terrible. And I'm like, well, no, not every town sounds like this town. They're talking like Thor for he's okay.
No, there are several things. It's not perfect. I mean, there's some goofy voice acting. There's some pacing occasionally.
It does. I mean, it's a weird one where I feel like it doesn't go full JRPG, where for me it would get too close to the sun and I'd be like out. But it does definitely get up there where I'm like, I know these tropes. I know what this is. The way they're talking, you know what I mean? Like it does do.
It doesn't feel like parody. I think that's the key
It's in
for
the
me.
it's in the safe spot between being JRPG and Western enough, where it's like I'm enjoying my ride here.
But you're right, it doesn't feel like self-parody. That's an excellent way to put
Which
it.
it very well could have. And the reviews are all pretty much glowing. The Jason Schreier's is the exception that's kind of getting torn apart. And the thing is, if you read his review, it's not bad. Pretty much the point he's making is, hey, people expected this to be Final Fantasy 6 too. It's not.
Yeah, it's good. It's just
and it's just like that. If that is the worst review you got for this game, like, things are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't been able to put as much time into Octopath Traveler as I've wanted to.
Sure.
Because I've been distracted by one of my old friends. His name is Captain Toad. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
Okay.
Oh my God, I love this fucking game. I
Yeah.
loved it on Wii U. Loved
Yeah.
the hell out of it. But man, playing through it again, it's one of those type of games that even if you played it before, I know at this point it's years ago. It came out in what, 2013?
13 or 14, I don't remember.
Latest.
Yeah.
It's been long enough that I don't remember all of the things, so I'll get stuck and I keep having that aha moment of just like, oh, this is what I need to do. And then I'm like, oh, I remember when I figured this out the first time.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like it's like seeing an old friend. But what I like about it is it's undeniably better on Switch than it was on Wii U.
Ooh, expound.
So one of my biggest issues with the Wii U that at the time I was fine with because it's all I knew, is the camera. You had to use the gyro shit with the gamepad on the Wii U to be able
Had
to
to rotate it and stuff?
to rotate the kind of worlds. And I mean, I even remember then wanting to be able to use the right stick, but it didn't ruin the experience for me because it was such a fun, novel thing. Like I never expected them to take that fun mini game from Mario 3D World and put it into its own game. But they did, and I was so just enthralled by that. But now being able to just use the right stick like a normal person,
Be on a plane like this.
it makes it so much more satisfying and just like you can kind of just do what you want, what your brain wants to do. It just happens instead of having to think about struggling with the controls.
Nice.
And like that should not be something a video game, is complimented for. But like here it is. I'm like an awesome game is now even better.
Yeah.
The touchscreen stuff is still there.
Good. And what about when you're playing on a TV?
So that's the thing is I was like I kind of switched back and forth. I'd say I was about halfway here, halfway there, and on the TV there's no touchscreen obviously, but you can use your Joy-Con or Pro Controller or whatever controller you're using as kind of a Wii remote type thing.
so you're just pointing.
So you're just pointing. It's a little weird. I don't recommend playing Captain Toad on the TV.
Okay.
I think it's way more at home on in handheld mode because the moment that you need, like the cursor's always on the screen.
Yeah.
And if there's different shapes or whatever platforms you need to click on to make rise or fall, the thing blocking you is kind of distracting. And I think the worst thing is because the Joy-Cons don't have the Wii sensor bar and all that stuff, it just doesn't ever feel quite as good as the Wii when it had the Motion Plus. The original Wiimote, still good, but it had some issues. This kind of like sometimes I need to hold it in a weird angle to get it going where I want to. I was like, I don't really like this.
Just feels like it's not as polished in that part as you
Exactly.
like it to have been.
But yeah, in handheld mode, man, I'm all about it. It is a little weird, and the Switch is a little heavy to be playing, moving the camera around with the right stick, then having to let go to touch it. Holding it with one hand and also using touchscreen stuff can get a little weird. But when I was just laying in bed, putting it on my lap, like then it was super intuitive and super awesome.
So for best friends that have never played Captain Toad, what's the hook?
So if you've never played Captain Toad, I ask you, have you played any of the Go games?
I ask you this, sir.
The Go games on mobile and PSP or PS Vita and did they ever come to Switch?
No.
And then on Vita, whatever. So Lara Croft
They're
Go,
on
Deus Ex
PlayStation
Go,
though too. I mean,
and PS4.
PS4,
yeah, that's right, and
yeah.
Hitman Go. It's essentially like mini board games where there's specific paths you have to go down. Things are happening, and every turn you do something, like enemies will move, and it's straight up just a puzzle game. You have to figure out how to get through it all. There's just a star at the end you have to get to, and that's how you beat the level. But that's not really where the fun is. The fun is there's extra challenges on top of it of do it in 3 moves, do it in 6 moves.
Yeah.
Avoid getting the Shy Guys alerted and like play it super stealth, or kill all the Shy Guys before you
Murder
get
the
through.
Shy Guys.
Yeah.
And then there's in every level there's 3 things you need to collect, and if you get them all, like there's like normal mobile game rules where it's like you can 3-star the level, but then there's usually like one more challenge. This has that, the one more challenge on top of that, and now this version. I don't think this was in the Wii U version. This must be new because it's based on Odyssey. It's like little pixel toads are hidden in every level. Okay. And so you need to find them, like with just straight up Where's Waldo style. Okay. And they'll be hidden in really interesting places. So it is just kind of looking at the full level and then kind of using the camera to explore the full level and the nooks and crannies of it.
But it's actually fun, unlike that horrible hospital game we talked about last week, right?
Well, yes. What was that? Disease Hidden Object.
Disease Hidden Object.
Yeah, way better than Disease Hidden Object. Yeah. It is fun, and then you just tap on the toad, and then you get the like toad seal of approval in your little book. A lot of that noise, and it's actually that noise in 8-bit.
Oh, nice.
No, wait. Is it or is it where he's like, I'm Toad?
No, it's the
okay. I can do that. It's when he's.
I can do that.
No, it's Mario 2 Advanced Toad, like the where he's just like an egg. You know that whole thing. Oh, I can't. I like Toad. He's always been my favorite of the 4 to play in games.
Really?
Until he started talking.
Hitting my girl Peach,
and then
Toadstool.
Oh no, I like Peach. I like Princess Toadstool, but Toad's great. Pick up those coins faster, get more lives. He's got that short jump.
He's playing on hard mode essentially.
Oh, I think he's great.
Which I appreciate.
No, I'm all about that Toad. But Captain Toad draws from our lineage. There was a time when puzzle games didn't mean blocks falling down from the sky. You know, pre-1989, you had things like Lolo, for example, and then right after that, games like Shuman Fu or things like Kyoko Cubicle and Pengo, and they were all about controlling a board and trying to make things happen and how things interacted there, almost through Goldbergish in a way. Captain Toad evokes that. Very
much so, and the inspiration for Captain Toad and originally the mini game from Super Mario 3D World was the idea of those little miniature Japanese gardens, like whatever Nick has out there with the
little Zen garden.
Yeah, the Zen garden type stuff. It's like that was the inspiration when you see it in every level, just kind of this little microcosm of things going on. And I love that the game introduces new mechanics constantly, and then we'll just take them away, and you don't see them for another 10 levels. But then they introduce it again with this next thing that you learned, and it never feels like this is like playing through a game and then the final boss is totally different than everything else. Yeah. You're constantly expecting to learn something new and like to see the same type of structure in a totally different way. And I think it's super satisfying and I love it. And I'm taking my time going through wanting to get 3 stars or whatever, like through every single level. In this version, I didn't get to the new stuff yet, the Mario Odyssey levels that they added, because that's like at the end of the game. And those bonus levels replace the bonus levels that the Wii U version had. That was the original mini game in 3D World. That's fine; those won't be missed. But yeah, there's a lot of content here, and I'm having a great time going through it. The Where's Waldo thing, where you just have to find a little Toad. It's really cool to me because one of my favorite things about playing through Odyssey is the Mario franchise is one of my favorite franchises of all time. But I can't tell you the nooks and crannies of Sunshine's levels or Galaxy's levels the way that I can Mario 64's levels. There's just something about how they were set up and where they hid all the secrets and how they designed the challenges of like the 6 different stars and revisiting the same level over and over and over, where it's just I wanted to be intimately familiar with everything that level had to offer.
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey did that for me in a way that I'd never expected I'd see again in a Mario game, where every single level, I wanted to know where every moon was, where every single thing, every character to talk to, because they had something worth giving me.
Yeah.
And the having to look at even the Captain Toad levels, as small as they are, in a different way to like find where the pixel is, it's satisfying. It's just like, especially when you do all the challenges back to back in one level before moving on to the next one, it's just cool because, so I should have said this earlier, the find Pixel Toad challenge is separate from going through. You can't do it in the same run that you're doing the rest of the stuff.
Oh, okay.
You hop back in and do it. Okay.
So it's like you need to do everything, you have to play every level twice. And normally I hate that type of shit. Like I like being able to
just complete it
all at once. That's another reason I loved Odyssey like more than 64 in some ways, because 64 there was a lot of stars. Once you got them, you were sent back, or all the stars. But I love playing through the level and then immediately having to play through it again to find Toad and being so familiar with like the mechanics of, well, if I push this up, that goes down and all that. It makes it really fun to kind of be like, oh, I know where I think he is. Like knowing how they designed this game, he's probably hidden here. And guess what? Nintendo's way smarter than me. They know I thought that, so it's not that. It's
Just
always
a piranha plant in there.
So it's not just a
great,
blind
man.
search. I love that's one of the best feelings in video games, though. I mean, why we enjoy open world gaming is largely a matter of coming around that corner and finding or looking at things. I'll bet you there is something there. And I mean, one of my favorite memories of Breath of the Wild is climbing this immense mountain just because I saw an immense mountain. And it's before I had a lot of stamina, but I found a way to do it. And I climb and I climb and I climb, and I am up over the world, and I get to the top, and there's just this single curved blade samurai sword sticking into the summit up there, stuck into the ground, like I found nowhere else in the world. And I climb up and pull it out of the ground and look out over the vista of all of Hyrule. I'm like, I did it.
Yeah.
Being able to do that in a game as localized as Captain Toad, that's really great design. That's impressive and rare. So you're really impressing me here. I cannot wait to see this.
I'm all about it. And I'll be honest, I don't think that every level's Toads are hidden in the most ingenious places. Like there are some that I'm like, all right, well you were lazy on that one. But like I'd say more often than not, I'm surprised by the amount of thought put into the game and how much fun I'm having replaying it, and it feels fresh. It feels like I'm doing it for the first time. So.
I like the mental image now. Just some guys like Bob wants to go home at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so
he's like,
sticks
just fucking
Toad
put him on the tree.
Let's go home.
Done.
Oh man, are you guys looking forward to playing Captain Toad at all?
I am. Yeah, big time.
Have you played before?
We had done demos and stuff when we were at IGN for it, where it was like I was on, I don't think Let's Plays, but I think I did it at like Comic-Cons and stuff like that. And I was always like, this is awesome. And then it came to Wii U and I was like, I hate my Wii U, and I refused to play it. So when it got announced here, I was totally like, yeah, 100% I'm in. But now it's on there and it's like, I see it on my what, for lack of a better term, cross-media bar.
Yeah.
I see it there and it's like, well, Octopath, well, Fortnite, well, Captain Toad, your time will come. Your time will come.
It's a game I'll devour portably, piece by piece, puzzle by puzzle, train ride by train ride. This is made for Switch for me. So, yay.
Captain Toad for Smash Bros. Let's do it, man. Let's get him in there. Don't let him jump, though. Find ways around that.
Oh, that'd be amazing if you couldn't jump.
I think they're going to do it.
Oh, that'd be great if you couldn't jump. I'm so mad Mega Man can duck.
That's true. Greg.
Yeah.
Fortnite Season 5.
Just dropped this morning, and boy, have we been playing it. How much did we get excited for this? Nick Scarpino came into work at 9:02 a.m. to stream for it with us.
Andy, can we get you on the Kev Cam for this one?
Andy's getting on the Kev Cam. Andy's getting on the Kev Cam. Hey,
Oh, yeah,
it's
get Andy on the song, Mike.
I got a sexy song for him. He's eating a chip instead of talking. Yeah, so we were super excited for Fortnite Season 5. Obviously, all the teases, the real world stuff, Worlds Collide. It wasn't so much, I think, any of us were excited for, oh man, Worlds Collide, the axe, all that shit. It was just like, man, new Fortnite content. I can't wait to see how the map changes. I can't see what they add. I was thinking more of like, I can't wait for the costumes they were going to put in there. But to wake up today and get a new battle pass, which is great enough, but then to see the golf carts that are there now and have it be, we were doing the stream and it's me driving with, Kev, Nick, and Andy there, and we're just like going over all these hills. It's
Wait,
fucking
so there's
awesome.
golf carts now?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was shopping carts before, right? And they
Right,
took
but
them
those
out
were
'cause
like,
they were cheap.
No,
Still are shopping carts.
they were put in and then taken out and then put back in because it was like, oh wait, it was like a day or two where something didn't work right. Here you go again.
Okay.
But that was very much like you're pushing a cart with your friend in it. You're gaining a little bit of momentum. Where this is now,
Vehicles.
hey, it's like, yeah, exactly. What PUBG's always had on them is the vehicles and everything else, and now hey, you have vehicles here.
Yeah, it felt like Christmas morning, really. Like,
Yeah.
That's what you kept saying, yeah.
I could not wait to wake up and update the Switch. So much so that like at 2 a.m. I'm still on Twitter and I start seeing all these drops. I'm like, let me turn on my Switch.
Get the
and
update,
Sure enough, there was
yeah.
an update there. Let me update it. And yeah, I woke up and they have a really clever way of not creating a whole new area to play in, right? Like it's still the same island, but the way that they change certain areas, there's now a desert biome, which used to be Moisty Mire. The bottom right side, which used to be a swamp, is essentially now just a big desert biome.
Yeah.
So you have little, like,
Anarchy Acres is gone. Now it's just a
Anarchy
pool
Acres,
and country club kind of thing.
Is a golf cart. Is a golf
Course.
course now,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And on top of a mountain, I forgot when we were flying. There's a big Viking ship that has
Worlds collided.
been displaced through these little portal rifts.
Is Power Man 5000 playing at all?
No.
No, I wish.
Are you ready for world?
There are portal rifts in the world that if you run into them, they drop you from really high up somewhere. And so you
Random?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if they're random. Like we've seen them in our game, and Kevin ran through, or no, then some kids were running through, and they were all popping up in the same place. So I don't know if that's every time. I don't know if it's random with a map, but once you figure out in a map, you're done.
So might you utilize them for traversal when you
exactly.
Know the map
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but the golf carts are really fun. They did fix a crucial bug, which is known as not a bug, but it's sort of a
cheesing.
People cheese the system, and it's called the double pump shotgun move, where
The good old double pump.
You love a good double pump.
To fire off a second shot with the pump shotgun. So what people do is they equip 2 of them. You fire one, you switch to the next weapon, you shoot the other one.
It's like back in Halo 2 with the
that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Same thing I brought up, yeah. So they fixed that, which is awesome. Now you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can shoot a shotgun shell from another shotgun that you own, which is just the best. I'm so glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
People took advantage of it insanely. Yeah.
So the changes they made to the map, is there a method to the madness in terms of like the story, or like does it make sense at all? Or did they just kind of take hey, these are the sections people don't really like, let's try to make them better?
I see both of it really. What I'm assuming is they looked at areas that they can improve on and just figured out interesting ways to sort of bring in new biomes and new sort of environments to sort of...
Yeah, I think the worlds collide and the cracks and the way they're using like spatial separation and like things being teleported in and out. I think that's what their explanation is story-wise. And I think, yeah, but behind the hood, or under the hood, I should say. I think it's just like, I know it's just my own, but like we never ever dropped in Moisty.
Yeah.
Like we always stayed away because there wasn't much over there. So I'm sure it was like...
swamps and you walk really slow through there. And
so I'm sure Epic sees all that data of like what's not being used appropriately. Shit, no one's dropping there.
Like a Fortnite heat map.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to see
yeah.
where you're gonna put you somewhere else.
The other question I got for you is, like, you played a lot of Halo back in the day, and it's like when new maps came out, that was super exciting. But it's like you always still wanted to be able to go back and play older maps, and it's exciting when they reskin things and bring them back in Halo 3 and all that. Do you think people, now that we're kind of in this new era of first-person shooter or shooter design and this battle royale stuff, do you think people are going to miss the old map, or do you think that this is where we're at now, where it's like, hey, this is an ever-evolving like game, and like we're not going to miss the old map?
I see people missing the old map. Sure.
Yeah. There was a on the Fortnite Battle Royale subreddit last night. There was a video a guy made of he went to every location in his character and waved goodbye to it just in case it was going to be gone. And I mean, granted, that's being, I'm sure he's being cheesy with it and goofy, but it's like, I'm sure that, yeah, people are going to, today when Andy's like, let's drop it. What's Anarchy Acres called now? What is it called? Golf course something or whatever?
The links,
Lucky Links. Yeah. It doesn't matter, but it was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, fuck, I dropped at Anarchy all the time. Like, that was where I dropped the most, to go into that back house and get through the roof and come down, you know what I mean? And like, so I don't like miss it, but in a season or two, when for whatever reason they flip it back and Anarchy's there and Greasy Grove changes or something, like, okay.
I think it's the same thing where people gravitate and still play. There was that big outcry when they took away the original vanilla WoW servers. I feel like that's sort of that thing where people will prefer the old one just for nostalgia's sake or whatever. But no, it's just, I don't know. I think Epic's doing an incredible job of finding a new way to keep it refreshing.
Yeah.
And I think this Season 5 dropping seems to be the biggest the game has been, and just in terms of, obviously it's a huge game, right? And in the public sort of, the public knowledge of this game is that it is like everybody's playing it, everybody's addicted to it. But I think this felt like Halo 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like Destiny 2 was coming out. Like, this felt like a huge event. And yeah, it's been great so far.
How much of that do you think is due to it now being on Switch, now being everywhere, and how much do you think it's just due to Fortnite is
I think
huge?
It's just the public knowledge. I don't think it's necessarily Switch. I think it's people finally coming around and giving in, and then realizing, oh, Season 5 is dropping. What is Season 5? It seems like a big deal. People won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
What is it? And they see all these skins. They see all these leaks. Yeah,
it's almost like chicken and egg, I think, with the Switch thing, where I don't think Switch is like the reason it's at fever pitch, but then I also do think it is, if that makes sense, where I feel like for you in particular, right, like the fucking Nick, Kevin, and me today, Joey on Twitter, like, you know, I don't know if Switch hadn't happened, I don't think I'd be playing it right now. I don't think we'd care as much. I don't think we'd be talking about it right now necessarily.
I'm not sure we'd be talking about it. I've talked about this before, but I really do believe that more than anything else, the fact that this game is free and resonates with
of course,
kids
yeah. And I'm definitely not trying to say that.
No. I wasn't trying to implicate you or to indicate that you did.
Thanks, Cool Greg. Sorry.
I just think that when we're talking about that cultural event to season 5, some of it may just be that if you're going to have anything to talk about at the lunch table with the other 8-year-olds for the next month, then you download season 5. Because if you don't, you're not part of what's going on anymore. Yeah. And since it's free, and since you either own a phone or a PS4 or a Switch or a PC somewhere in your household, you're playing it. Yeah. And maybe more than anything people like us can do, that's what's really moving it. I haven't seen a game like this resonate with kids since Minecraft. And this one's designed to, instead of them sit and talk about their builds or their little private servers, this is about 100 of them playing at once. I think it's inescapable. If I was a kid right now, there'd be no way I didn't play Fortnite. If I didn't like Fortnite, I would pretend.
Oh, sure.
Like
yeah,
Fortnite.
Totally. You'd have to pretend to like Fortnite right now.
It feels like Halo back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was just the thing that everybody did. And then eventually Call of Duty became that. But this is, I'm getting that same vibe from where you can't avoid it.
It's crazy. I really do wonder what the ceiling is for it. Like, you know what I mean? Where does the hype and excitement and energy run out on it?
Yeah.
But like, I think,
when's the Facebook going to come to kill the MySpace? You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's, you know, such a perfect timing for them on so many ways. Of just like, I think the way Switch did prime a lot of gamers out there and get it back into a lot of people's hands or into people's hands, and then have it drop here, you know, whatever it was, 30 days after Switch, give or take.
I like the analogy Tim used there, but the question there was PUBG the MySpace.
Yeah, I think PUBG was the Zanga.
Okay, so
you know,
the Zanga.
Like,
all right.
PUBG, like that was just the social media is a thing, but then it took MySpace to come and be like, no, but really though. But then Facebook happened.
Yeah. What song played on your MySpace page when you started it?
My own shit, dude.
Your own stuff?
Hell
no
yeah,
kidding.
Dude. Hell yeah.
Where do we find this Tim
Bad
Gettys
rap
originals?
songs. What's up?
My Boo from Usher.
And my boo from Usher.
Speaking of Halo, I've been playing a lot of Halo 5.
Yeah, back in that.
It's great. It's so much fun. Like I fell out just because, you know, whatever Halo, you know, I don't know what else they can show me. But it feels so goddamn good to play. It's like riding a bike again, Craig.
Yeah?
They have this awesome mode called Super Fiesta mode.
Super Fiesta.
It's been there since day one, but this is all new to me. Everybody's probably like,
You fucking idiot, Andy.
Yeah, so Super Fiesta is just like, it's 4v4 or no, 5v5. Either one. But you just spawn with a random weapon, and there's like 48,000 fucking weapons in this goddamn thing. They have the new battle rifle, the Halo 2 battle rifle.
Oh, really?
New pistol, the Halo 1 pistol. It's everything, and you just sort of, and there's so many maps too, where you're either playing a new map or you're playing an HD version remake of Hang 'em High or Rat Race from the earlier Halo games. But then you'll play a new map that's like, oh, this is kind of like Midship, and then they'll straight up have you play Ascension or like an old Halo 2
That's
map.
awesome.
Neat.
It's insane and really fun, and they also do this thing where, similar to, what game am I thinking of? I can't think of the game, but
Stubbs the Zombie.
no, they have a seasonal sort of content where it's like for 3 weeks at a time. Oh, like I guess like Fortnite, where it's like they have 50v50 mode or 20 squad mode or whatever. Halo will do like, hey, we have a Halo 3 playlist mode, and it's all BRs, it's all battle rifles. Or they'll do shoddy snipes mode for a couple weeks, and then once that's done, they'll move on to whatever the fuck, rockets only. You know, like they have all these sort of cool ways to kind of bring you back and kind of get you interested in the game.
When it comes to Super Fiesta mode, is it the randomness that draws you in? Like,
yeah, because the thing about Super Fiesta is generally, me and my brother and my friends aren't as good as the people playing.
Okay.
But Super Fiesta, you can spawn with a rocket a whole bunch.
Okay.
And feel and sort of have that advantage. Or you spawn with a sniper and it's game over for the other team.
Hell yeah, dude.
Do you play
Nitro rifle.
Do you play Smash Brothers with items on?
No, but if I want to have fun, I'll do Pokeballs only.
You gotta play. See, you're halfway there. You're almost there. Smash Brothers with items on is a Super Fiesta of Smash Brothers.
It's fun.
It's fun, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
It's random.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you played with Finnegan at all? Halo 5? He plays like every night.
Really?
Yeah.
That man loves him some Halo
You
5.
should hit him up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be so bad though.
He'll help you.
Then no
He's
side
supposedly really good.
Then
I
no
don't
side.
trust him ever, but
I
Don't
heard
trust-
a
don't trust Sean
reliable
Milligan.
rumor that he has Master Chief's helmet tattooed on his right buttock.
I can confirm that is not
I
true.
believe it. You've been looking at his
Kevin, it's your time.
Big Kev Dog!
Another game came out on Switch on this beautiful Thursday, July 12th. Bomb Chicken.
Did it come
Bomb
out?
chicken.
Or is it embargoed?
I'm
I believe the embargo
99.
ended on the 12th.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm
just double checking. I'm just making sure.
Because I remember that the 3 Switch games are coming out the same day, July
Okay.
12th.
Okay. Okay. Oh, if it's out, then it's out. Sure. I don't remember reading it on Games Daily today.
Get on that shock, Mike.
Double check real quick.
I'm on it. Go ahead and sit down.
What's up?
So what we can talk about for sure is Bomb Chicken.
Hold
is a
off
game,
on any in-depth coverage until July 12th. Launch on July 12th.
Bomb
Okay.
Chicken
Yeah,
is a
Bomb
game that Kevin and I
Exists.
played at GDC
Yeah.
during the Nindies event.
Yeah.
And we were all about
really
it.
enjoyed the demo. It was a lot of fun.
Puzzle
Wanted to get-
platformer where
Yeah.
you're this fucking chicken. You're just going through.
Yep.
And
You're
then
this fucking chicken.
it's like it's just you move with the analog or D-pad, and then it's one button.
One button.
Any button you hit,
Any button.
it lays a bomb. If you let the bomb explode, Metroid rules. You kind of bounce around with it.
Ooh, fun.
You can like stack the bombs, so you can have up to
Wait, what do you mean, Metroid rule?
if the bomb things it bounces you.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, then you've been playing more than I
Yeah,
have.
it's like an egg where you lay an egg, and you're now on top of it. So if you immediately drop 6, like you've put yourself higher, and then you can run to the platform that you want to get to. But you got to get away from them because they will explode and kill you. Another thing you can do is like lay a bunch of drop a bunch of bombs, go to the left and kick it, and like that'll shoot it off to whatever side you kick it to.
So it's not like Explosion Man where you're being propelled by your own explosions.
no,
It's
no.
okay.
Totally wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the opposite of what I was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So we were super all about it. When we
Super all
played
about it. I could not wait to get my hands on it.
It looks like a Kevin-ass game
Yeah,
where it's like a
it
lot
had
of
little fun
environment
puzzles, like,
He's
how
the
do you get
GoPro.
Yeah.
And?
Now, it's more of a platformer than I thought it would be. And I gotta tell you, I got these dumb fucking useless fat fingers that just won't do what I want them to. So I played it for a solid like 2, maybe even 4 hours. I was trying my hardest to get into it, but I couldn't. Some about it, like it just, I'm not enjoying it as
Heartbreaking.
nearly as much as I did with the short demo that we did, where I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." Actually, I don't know if I even played the demo. I think I just watched you, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do that." But yeah, it's too much of a platformer for me.
yeah, see, I'm
Or
a
it's-
platformer
No,
guy.
yeah.
Puzzles, I'm down with,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely on the
puzzles
platformer
are all
side.
very simple. Like you're not using your noggin as much as I'd want to.
Is this all
But
about
it
the
is-
hand-eye coordination?
Exactly.
Okay.
The puzzles that I encountered were more like, okay, throw the bombs to break the rock, little like because there's little cracked squares where you're like, all right, so you can push bombs on them, hit them, and now you got to time it so that like this saw that's like rotating around that you can jump over it, and as it does another loop, go through the hole. And I'm terrible at like platforming.
This sounds
Super
like
Meat
my
Boy
jam.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds like my jam right
Yeah,
here.
I think you might like it. You should try it. You should try it. Give
I
it a
play
try.
this.
So that's the things. Do you still recommend it to people to give it a shot?
Not if you like the kind of games that like the kind of puzzle games that I'm always pushing for. I played 2 to 4 hours of it. I don't know that I'll play it again. So yeah.
What's a good comparison for a puzzle game that you'd hope that would be like, Kevin? Just to give me an idea of the kind of game you're thinking
I mean,
about
I don't
there.
know, like Death Squared, where it's
Okay.
or like Snake Pass, where it's like, all right, the controls might be tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it is about like trying to figure out how do I swing this, move this character in a certain way where I can get into this part.
Death Squared is a good one. It is
Yeah.
it's very similar to like if you combine Death Squared with almost Celeste, I would say, but a way simpler Celeste.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that idea a lot because I have like a shriveled raisin where that part of my brain is where you're supposed to solve puzzles.
Okay.
So this may be a very good game for me
Yeah.
actually.
You
Captain Toad,
want
I
to play
can
a little
handle.
bit of it right
Anything
now?
down,
You
not
can
a-
bring it over.
What? Bring it over here
Yeah.
right now? No, I'm not good at talking and playing at the same
All right.
time.
We
Thank
talking?
you, Kev.
And we
Anytime.
playing. And we talking. And we
Next
playing.
game, there's 2 games here that we're going to talk about back to back.
Back
that are
to
just
back.
Old games that we just fucking should have been playing a lot more of. Number one.
Oh, yeah.
Rocket League.
Sure. Of course. So, full disclosure, we're obviously teaming up with Psyonix. They hired us to come host their Rocket League third birthday party down at Petco Park. If you're in San Diego for Comic-Con, it's Thursday, 3 to 9 p.m. It's free, open to the public. You should come hang out. It's kind of funny. It's Xavier Woods. It's a whole bunch of cool people doing cool things.
It's Thursday, July 19th?
Correct.
Oh, that's Angie's birthday.
Oh, bring her down. San Diego. Lovely this time of year. So, yeah. Obviously, we're doing the thing, so we did a party mode that's up on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames right now, and that was like part of the deal, right? Of like, we're doing this, we're gonna do all this stuff.
Well, it's not part of the deal.
Was to talk about it on the Gamescast.
Fucking love that game.
Yeah, and
it'd be like, why don't we play it more?
And that's the thing about it. Why I put it on the list because we did the party mode, and it was that thing of like, fuck, we played. I remember a long time ago. We did a Twitch Let's Play of Rocket League 3 months or so before it came out. It was me, Colin, Dunham, Doug Perry. You guys came in, Nick and Tim. You played with us and stuff, and we had such a great time. And that was really the one that set it for me. Of like, I fucking love Rocket League. I can't wait to play more Rocket League. And the story goes that Rocket League came out, and it was that PlayStation Plus game. We were at an event, came back, I downloaded it and started playing online, and everybody was so much better than me. So I was just getting curb stomped left and right. And I was like, all right, boat passed me by. This isn't a game for me anymore. And of course, you know, at IGN, we covered all the DLC and stuff. I remember when they put the Batman v Superman cars in there, the fact they've never stopped. The game's been a runaway success. I don't need to recap any of that. So it sounds stupid for us to be like, man, what a great game. But it was one I think we wrote off as it will never be good at. Yeah. And when it came to Switch, I was like, man, basically what is happening with us in Fortnite now, and what will happen with Smash, I'm like, this is awesome. We should all get it, and we should play it at the at the end of the days and stuff, and yada yada yada. And we got codes and we downloaded it, and I didn't touch it until we were getting ready, warmed up, where I needed to play and get my wits about me again. Team Fat Flags in Rocket League, of course, go get it. And so yeah, we did all the sponsored stuff, but it was. I wanted to talk about it here, not part of the sponsorship, because, obviously we tell you, just like, holy shit, goddamn, we need to play more of that game. Yeah, because it was so much fucking fun.
Watching y'all play that party mode, you were screening it the other day. I don't think I've ever seen you all have more fun. You were giddy.
It's that thing of, I think to jump online in Rocket League is similar to jump online in Fortnite of you not know what you're doing. You're going to get clowned out and it's going to be a pain in the butt, right? But to sit down with your friends who are all equal footing for the most part, right? Yeah. Even though Andy could not figure out how to fucking jump and twirl, like I'm telling him over and over again. Yeah. That was such a great time, and seeing us all figure it out, and seeing it go from me and Nick winning that first match to you and Andy coming, like dominating you guys, figured it out.
It clicked for me, and I'm like, oh, I can fucking do this.
We did the one party mode, and then it's the rare occasion where we did the one party mode, and at the end, Kevin's like, oh fuck, there's no audio on the video's corrupted.
The video's corrupted,
and I'm not gonna know for 2 hours.
We spent an hour making the party mode, and it was so fun and so good. And then the video got corrupted, and we're like, fuck, it was a busy day. We had to play it again.
Well, what did we do? We did something in between it, right? Didn't we do another podcast or something?
We did an MCU interview.
Right.
In between XCU interview.
Yeah. That's a long and then we came back to do party mode again.
And then it was like, fuck, we have to do it again. And it was like, we were tired as hell, but it was also like, so what happened was, we went back, we're like, we have to re-record it. So we recorded it again, and maybe 10 minutes in, Kevin's like, hey, I fixed the corruption. We're good. We don't need to keep going. And we all kind of were like,
yeah, well, let's just do another one. Let's just keep going. And it's just like, it's the same thing of Fortnite, really, where I can just see where I could totally lose myself to that game. Where it was, as soon as it was done, like, I was driving the DeLorean. I had my Team Fat Flag, not on the DeLorean because you can't do that. But but it was that thing of like, fuck, I never bought the Batmobile. I should go buy the Bat. And I'm like, wait, what is my real commitment to Rocket League going forward? Is this going to be a thing we play as an office? Because if so, then fuck yes, let's go get everything.
Rocket League is an arcade game. It is. We live in an age where very few new arcade games are made, and even fewer are ever featured. Fundamentally, that's a 4-player multiplayer arcade game. It's the kind of thing that in a parallel universe is standing in some mall in 1994 with 4 linked cabinets, and people are playing it. You can understand what you're supposed to do in seconds, and the controls are as simple as you can possibly imagine, and yet you can play it for, as some people do, thousands of hours. That is a rare, beautiful thing in gaming. Yeah. And the fact that you found a way to get over that hump, that barrier of entry you've talked about, that's extraordinary.
Well,
I love Rocket League. I'm not any good at it. I love it.
Exactly. And what was fascinating about us playing it is, and you can see it in the party mode, where it's learning to walk, where I'm I'm not using the follow ball cam. Not that I'm saying I'm better than you guys. Clearly I was better than. But I'm doing the thing where I'm like, I'm going back in the field, playing the ball, moving up on it, jumping as the ball descends, and I go to what would be, and I go underneath it. And it's like, oh man, once I get the timing down on that one, but it wasn't, it was like, you watch that thing and it is a bunch of this, you know what I mean? And I do it on scores even where I didn't think I was going to get it. And it's like, man, it's all just a second off. And you can see where you can narrow those gaps and fucking start nailing it.
And even besides things like that, because like that, I feel like none of us actually got ever even hit that point. Like I would say like the walking analogy is good, but it's like I feel like we're still
we're still totally crawling. We're crawling.
But it's like learning not even just the kind of momentum and physics of how you move, but also just the different things you can do. Like, all right, I could hit the ball, or I could just jam into Nick and blow him up to stop him from going. It's it's that type of strategy where I'm like, this is really freaking cool.
And also that wonderful emergent idiocity, because even failure can be fun in Rocket League. When you have something like Andy blocking his own shot, for example, I mean, stuff like that, that's extraordinary. And yes, it's dumb and you get mad at yourself, but at the same time, you're like, that was my fault. This is a skill-based game. I didn't get screwed there. I screwed myself. That means I can get better.
Exactly.
Really cool.
Exactly.
So in the next game, it's a weird one to be bringing up on this show. Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS.
That's right. There we go.
That's where it gets weird. Jared, why?
So I had to go to LA last week to do an interview for IGN, and I got a chance to meet Yuji Horii, which was awesome, and I'll be writing about that later for IGN. But in the course of that trip, I reached for my Switch, and I said no, and I grabbed my 3DS, and I stuck Super Smash Brothers in it and took it along with me. And
now, which 3DS are you playing on?
Okay, I was playing on a 3DS XL, my big pink XL.
Not a new one.
Not a new.
So you don't even have the nub.
I don't even have the nub.
Ugh.
So yeah, I know. And that's actually what was. It had been a long time since I had played that, and sitting there trying to do the smashes with the circle pad, and I was delighted to discover that it was way better. I'd always enjoyed it, but I was delighted to discover that I slipped right back in. And it had been a long time since I played. I did not get to play Smash Brothers at E3 this year. I was at appointments that whole time, so I never got to touch it. And I was like, I cannot wait for this game. But I was grabbed by how well implemented it was, even with those limited controls. And really what it did was just whet my appetite. I wanted to take my Switch with me, but I couldn't play Smash Brothers on it. And that's what I found myself thinking the whole time. It's like, this is great. They did so well within these limitations. I cannot wait for this winter. I just can we just fast forward the next few months?
I've said it a million times, but Sakurai is definitely my favorite game director of all time. The love and care that he puts into his games is just on a totally different level. And the fact that Smash Bros. 3DS exists is a testament to that. I'm sure there was meetings in Nintendo that were like, you know what? We can't just put it out on Wii U. That will not do enough. Me being the type of person I am, I looked up sales numbers for Super Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS last night just so I had an idea. And total, we're looking at about, it's going to hit 15 million by the end of the year. The 3DS version still is selling about 80K units.
Oh, wow.
Like consistently, like every month or whatever. And when you break that down, I think that 10 million of them were 3DS sales and the rest was Wii U, which was still a crazy attach rate for
Wii U,
Wii U systems were sold. And there was a Reset thread about how many copies is Smash Ultimate going to sell on Switch. And it's like, it is kind of crazy because the last number was adding two together. But when you look at Smash, each iteration of the game has sold a lot more than the last. And the thread that was brought up was like, is this going to sell 25 million units? Which has previously been reserved for Mario Kart type numbers.
Yeah, I think it will in the long run. I think we're looking at several years from now, but I think it will. Absolutely.
I definitely think that it will.
This is going to be a game that launches the second wave of Switch ownership, I think. This is going to be a must-have
that and Pokemon
game.
Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
But I think people that own one are going to own the other. Not entirely invariably, but I think you're going to have like 70% overlap between those two groups of people. These are going to be games that people just have to have them when they experience them. I was also really impressed looking at that. It had been a while since I picked it up. Nintendo just must have the best engineers on the planet Earth. That game shouldn't exist. There should be smoke coming out of my 3DS to make that thing function.
No ice climbers.
Yeah, I think about like Mario Kart 8 and how great it looked on Wii U and how it looked in many ways better than most PS4 and Xbox One games that were coming out contemporaneously with it. And now I look at this on my 3DS and I'm like, I can't wait to see how perfect this is going to be when they have the power of a Switch behind it.
I never really loved the look of the 3DS Smash, but I agree with what you're saying, because like adding the black outline to the characters, it's like that is a perfect example of them understanding they can't just have the exact same game on the 3DS's small screen and with like the look the 3DS has, and also just changing the levels and having it be like, again, going back to Sakurai just being like so extra with everything. Like I love how the 3DS levels were different for the most part than the Wii U levels, and they were based on handheld games instead of being based on console games. And just like little things like that are just like so awesome. I do say I do believe that the Wii U version would have been better if the 3DS one didn't exist. But I don't think that it would have sold as much, and we wouldn't be where we're at now getting Smash Ultimate with all the characters.
I don't think there's a universe where they didn't make the 3DS one because they had such an install base at that point around the 3DS when they did it. I think the decision was made earlier than the Wii U's failure. Like that they looked already, just went, we are going to do this on both platforms. You also had wonderful things like the fact that I could just pick up a 3DS at IGN one day when there was a 5-player game of Smash going on, and suddenly it was a 6-player game of Smash because I could literally use the thing as a controller. That was that was a weird feature.
It was weird.
It was rad. It worked great.
Yeah.
It worked great.
It worked.
It's there. You're in. I mean, you want to play an 8-player game of Smash? You got some 3DSs laying around. It worked.
The biggest problem, and you said this earlier, but the Smash is just not made for the control scheme of the 3DS, and even the new 3DS, like that little weird C-stick nub thing, like it's still not good.
I can
It's
deliver Smash with
tolerable.
it though. I
Yeah,
mean, I can, and
this
that's-
thing is like the 3DS game. I've played that for countless hours. I probably put 50 hours into the 3DS Smash, let alone the Wii U one. And it's like, man, knowing the Ultimate's coming, I can't fucking wait, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. You got 3 more games here.
Yeah.
This is the Jared Petty mobile games section.
Jared Benny's
Let me know
mobile games.
what the fuck
He
is
broke out his phone.
Poolslide Story.
Yeah, all right. So I need to start sending these to you a few days before so you guys can play, so I'm not just preaching about these games. So I'll be quick. It's a Kairosoft game, Kairosoft. Yeah, and you know the Kairosoft.
Game
right?
Dev Story?
Exactly, Game Dev Story, and I've talked about some of their
That's
other
a
stuff on
Poolslide
here.
Story.
Now it's
Wait, is it Poolside or Poolslide?
Poolslide Story.
Am I running a water park in this?
You are?
Downloading now.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
It's Kairosoft. It's $5. It's a premium download. No in-app purchases. You get the whole game right off. Build a water park. That's the game. It's Kairosoft, so it's a perfect.
I was gonna say you need to know.
Yeah.
No, those sirens are on our end, by the way.
Those are our sirens, not yours. We'll wait for those to go by here and then continue. But yeah, Kairosoft makes sim-type games. It's like, hey, here's a budget and here's some visitors and lay out a little park
Oh my
and build
God,
some
it's
stuff.
adorable.
It's so good. They're colorful. They're simple. They're wonderful. And they do it better than anybody. Support this kind of game, folks. It's a quality game for $5, and it doesn't beg you for any more
I'm
money.
bad at supporting Kairosoft because you always bring on stuff, and I loved Game Dev Story, and it's probably my most. That's a bold thing to say, I guess. Probably it's one of my most played mobile games of all time.
Yeah.
Like in terms of a phone game, you know what I mean?
It's so good.
And so yeah, the fact that I haven't picked up every game since then is kind of embarrassing to me, and it shows that I am a man without character.
Dungeon Village is really good if you haven't.
But that right there, like, see, this is what I'm talking about, where it's like. Game dev, yeah. Dungeon, man. Pools, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing my Poolslide Story, sure. I'm all about that fucking one.
And it's great. You put like the snow cone stand up.
That was the image I saw,
Yeah,
right? Of like
exactly.
you have a food court running. I'm like, yeah.
And that's all there is to that one. And that's actually all I was going to talk about.
Perfect.
Honestly.
Well,
So,
you got it. You just got him a sale, so good job.
Since Tim's gone, I'm going to move down to the next one here. My next one's Atomic Bomber. This is another premium game. It's $1.
Okay.
It's a 99-cent game. No in-app purchases. So Atomic Bomber looks like it was drawn in like worse than MS Paint. And down to the thumbnail, which is just absolutely awful. Oh, what do you got? Oh, you got the music going on?
Poolslide Story, everybody.
It's so much fun. Kairosoft games they're so delightful. It's like they come from some magical fairyland.
So
heaven.
adorable.
Yeah, this is great. We just started talking about Atomic Bomber.
Okay, Atomic Bomber.
Yeah, which
Give me the pitch.
It's absolutely fugly. It's 99 cents.
Oh, is this the one you were showing me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's a premium download. And I was talking earlier about arcade games. It's an arcade game.
Yeah.
It's similar to an old DOS game called Baron that you used to find on like really old DOS computers. But you're a bomber. You're flying around. You're blowing stuff up on a map. That's it. You're fast. It has perfect touch controls. Ridiculously good touch control. Very responsive. Games take a few minutes. It's just fun. It looks ugly as all, and it is so
Whoever designed it,
thoughtfully.
colorblind as all hell, has
Yep.
no idea of color theory.
But you can see everything. Like, everything is very clear. You can see what you're supposed to shoot at. You can see what you're supposed to do. You're blowing stuff up on the ground. It's shooting back. You're picking up power up super fast. You get ridiculously powerful really fast, but the game ramps up difficulty really fast. You're dropping atomic bombs and cluster bombs and dodging under missiles. And there's this cool system where guys are shooting down from the ground at you, and you can see the missile arcing towards you, but you can see the line from the radar station. And so they're faster than you, but just slightly. So you got to destroy the radar station before the missile gets to you, while you're avoiding tank fire, but watching out for MiGs swiping down, while dropping 17 bombs and 2 nukes at the same time.
Atomic bomber, man.
It's great. It also has a little A10 like DLC mode built in that's free, where you're running around just shooting guns at things. It is a great time waster. Desert golfing, pardon me, not desert golf, that's a different game. Desert golfing is an odyssey. This is a great way to spend 3 minutes.
Cool.
And just pick up. I can't recommend that enough for being like stuck at a bus stop. It's just a great little game, perfect for phones.
And then finally, Angular Velocity.
Angular velocity.
Angular Velocity I've just started. It's by the same guy that made Atomic Bomber. That's how I found it. It's just as ugly. It's a game about a soccer ball with a built-in grappling hook.
Okay.
You tilt the phone to cause the ball to roll one way or the other. You tap the screen to fire your grappling hook, and you try to get to the goal.
Okay.
It's great. It's again, it's $1. It's no in-app purchases, and it's another wonderful, creative, ugly video game.
Yeah.
And everyone on Earth should own this and Atomic Bomber.
Well, check it out, guys. The Jared Petty seal of approval.
Yep.
And
That's it.
speaking of mobile games, it's time, ladies and gentlemen.
This
This week,
Oh, I
it's
left my
time
laptop.
Oh, you want to go grab that?
laptop.
We've been doing this little game that Jared Petty came up with called Mobile Game or Bullshit.
Did you guys do it last week without me?
We did.
How'd it go?
Kevin beat the shit out of me.
Wow.
I'm yet to win this.
I want to get a piece of paper as always. Hold on.
This week or last week, no. Let me take a couple steps back. This all started with mobile game or bullshit. Then last week we did mobile game or Silicon Valley startup. This week we are doing mobile game or erotic novel on Amazon.
That's right. That's the game.
And I
Mobile
cannot
game
wait for
or
this.
erotic novel on
And
Amazon.
let's give a shout out to Justin Dean, who wrote our theme song for Mobile Gamer Bullshit. Hold on, let me make
We
sure
have
I
a
got
theme
everything.
song.
We have a theme. Well, remember I sang it on episode 1, and then Justin Dean actually made it into a real song.
It's mobile game or bullshit. It's mobile game or bullshit. Joy's gonna read some stuff and we'll bring you up to
Okay,
It's one of those things where when I podcast, I
Who
forget.
made that?
Justin Dean is what I said.
Justin Dean.
Thank you, Justin.
My
Justin
man.
Dean at JangleBoy _ Yeah. How did it sound on your end? Because we want to play it every time. I feel like giving you guys more work of playing something seems stressful, but playing it, huh? It was gritty. Well,
I think if we got Kevin in
If we
his
give him
hands,
the-
he'd be good.
okay, cool.
We might even be, if we could find some animation, it could become a graphic. We could.
All
drop
right,
it
let's
down
not get
over
ahead of
everything.
ourselves, right?
All
We, I don't, the
exciting.
name bars barely come up as is, and they're 70% of the time they're right. I guess 30% wrong. Hold on, so I remember.
So last time the victor first game you were perfect.
Perfect
You
game.
have not yet missed a question
No.
on this. Second time around,
Yeah.
you
I
defeated.
lost.
Yeah, you lost to Kevin. So you
Lost
haven't
to
won a
Kevin.
game here yet, Tim.
No.
I hope some of the
I'm
best
looking for
friends.
a W, man.
We probably need a scoreboard. I mean, otherwise these episodes are going to be lost to history.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
sure
there's a-
someone out there will figure it out.
Started on the subreddit.
Yeah, maybe start on the subreddit. Keep a scoreboard for Mobile Gamer Bullshit. All right. I got so excited by this one. I was having so much fun with this topic, with this theme of mobile game or erotic Amazon novel. Erotic novel on Amazon. That we're stretching it to 7 here today.
Wow.
We added this last week, Greg. There are descriptions for every game.
Oh wow.
Now, these games are these descriptions are either from their real description on the App Store,
Okay.
or I've made them up.
Okay.
All right.
Of course, yeah. If it's an
All
erotic
right.
novel, you got to make it up.
All right. So here's the first one. Is it love, Drogo Vampire? Is it love, Drogo Vampire? Is that an erotic novel on Amazon, or is it a mobile game?
Do I get the description first, or I get it after?
The description is, you may even be able to tame his destructive character and discover in him a passionate lover. What's the theme here? All right, so who's going first?
I'm gonna say erotic novel.
You say erotic novel on Amazon. Mm-hmm. Greg Miller?
Fuck. Now, so when we're saying erotic novel, are these like Amazon submissions included, or is it has to be like published and it comes
These
in?
are like things that you can buy on the Kindle store or buy on Amazon. They might be print published, they might be Kindle Directs, but they're erotic fiction that you can purchase.
Can I hear
on
the
Amazon.
game description one more time?
Is it love, Drogo Vampire? You may even be able to tame his destructive character and discover in him a passionate lover.
Fuck. I'm gonna say it's erotic as well. Erotic novel.
Okay, erotic novel for both of you. Are we going to the end
We're
this
gonna
time?
end-
or-
we're gonna go to the end.
Remember
Yeah,
to come
all the
back
way in.
then.
Number 2.
Number 2. Moan with Bigfoot Mega Collection. Moan with Bigfoot Mega Collection. All 5 episodes of the Moan with Bigfoot interactive novel series now available together, plus exclusive Sensual Sasquatch DLC.
Fuck. I'm saying that's erotic novel.
Fuck. See, here's the thing. I also think it's an erotic novel because the Mega Collection makes it sound like a game, so I feel like you're trying to play me.
Yeah.
And I feel like they wouldn't say DLC in the description.
So you're saying
So
erotic?
the vote is.
I'm going erotic.
So you guys are both voting
Yeah.
erotic.
That was my
novel.
thing. When it's and this is gonna sound like the most fucking classist shit you've ever heard for video game
Oh, dear.
players. Do mobile games have DLC? And like, would this game have DLC? That's, I guess, the bigger question.
All right.
Obviously, there's deals. Animal Crossing has stuff. You know what I mean? But all right, cool.
All right, there we go. Number 3. Burnin' Rubber Crash and Burn. The most explosive game on Earth is now available on mobile.
You're so good at this, Jared. You're so good. Because this sounds like it has to be a video game, which makes me think it's an erotic fucking novel, and I'm going erotic.
You going erotic?
I'm going
novel?
erotic, man.
All right, erotic novel.
I'm going game.
Greg Miller says game.
It's mobile game bullshit.
Number 4. Hot or Shot. Hot or Shot. It's a free game that will unwind the party participants and make the party really hot.
It's a game.
I'm gonna go erotic.
Greg Miller says erotic.
Yeah.
Game.
Tim Gettys says game.
Fucking game, man.
Number 5, Southern Hospitality.
Oh, here we go.
The Southern belles of Spectre Manor need the touch of a good detective to strip away the mystery.
Game.
Tim Getty says game. Greg Miller,
I say erotic.
he says erotic. Number 6, The Stable Girl, bred by a stallion.
Fucking goddamn. This
Help.
is definitely. Oh, go for it.
Here's the description. Help Madeline rescue horse from a corral. And by the way, it's not spelled corral, it's spelled coral, C-O-R-A-L.
Okay.
Help Madeline rescue horse from a coral. The Stable Girl, bred by a stallion. Description, help Madeline rescue horse from a coral.
Oh my God.
Greg Miller, what do you say first?
I think it's a game.
Greg says game.
I'm going to say erotic because the coral thing. You wouldn't have told us that if you didn't make it up. Because that
That's
would
what
give
Tim
away
says.
It's a good point. It's those. It was the terrible sentence structure before the core. I was like, that's an app store description. That's an app store description.
Final one.
Final one, number 7.
Ready?
Yep.
Taken by the Minotaur. Description, Antigone has been kidnapped. Taken by the Minotaur.
Video game.
Tim Getty says video game. Greg Miller?
Erotic.
He says erotic. All right, folks, if you're playing at home, that's 7. We went 7 today. Little extra on there.
Well, you know what? I'm going
that?
erotic.
No.
I didn't mean to. I didn't
You
mean-
locked it in. You locked it in, sir.
Damn it. All
Cool
right,
guy,
I
you
fucked
mean
that
the
up really bad. The Antigone thing threw it off. It doesn't matter. Go.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm going to allow it if you want to take it back.
It's been locked.
You gonna
What's
take it?
locked is locked.
All
May
right.
never lie.
All right, that's what he says. Okay, you had your chance. Number 1. Is it love? Oh, there's the song again.
I just want to have it prepped to end there.
All right.
Okay.
Is it love, Drogo Vampire,
Yeah.
Totally a mobile game.
And we both said erotic fiction.
Yeah.
Totally a mobile game. Absolutely. It is a sensually themed mobile game
course.
where you can meet and perhaps seduce a vampire. That is the real description. It's from the description. You may even be able to tame his destructive character and discover in him a passionate lover. This game, by the way, does have DLC because it occasionally rolls out new television-style episodes for you to interact with.
It's a spiritual successor to Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
There we go. Number 2, Moan with Bigfoot Mega Collection is in fact an erotic novel on Amazon.
Yeah, it is. Hell yeah.
It's a collection of nine different works of erotica, including several parts of the famous Moan with Bigfoot series of. Are you guys aware of like the fantasy erotica on Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah.
No further questions.
Okay. All right. There's a whole world of like really kind of out there Amazon erotica, and the Bigfoot books are apparently very, very big in this world.
Man.
So Moan with Bigfoot. Number 3, Burnin' Rubber, Crash and Burn. That's a game. That's a mobile game. That's a mobile game.
Greg
Burnin'
Miller
Rubber.
rushes out
It
to an
is
early
in fact a
lead.
racing game.
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
So right now, what score for the folks back home? What are we
Greg
at?
has 2 points. Tim has 1.
Greg has 2, Tim has 1. Number 4, Hot or Shot is the free game that'll unwind the party participants and make the party really hot.
That's a point for Tim.
All right, it's a point for Tim. So we're tied up at 2-2. 3 to go. Number 5, Southern Hospitality. The Southern Belles of Spectre Manor need the touch of a good detective to strip away the mystery. That is absolutely erotica. That is not a video game.
Yes. Greg Miller back in lead, 3-2.
Yeah, my fake description was not good enough there. Number 6, The Stable Girl, bred by a stallion. Help Madeline rescue horse from a coral. Is erotica.
Damn. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
You got that.
You got
Yes.
it. You got
Yes.
it. You
That
did
means
right.
you
made up the
I did
description.
make up the description.
I knew it.
Yeah. I'm worried I'm going to have to stop giving these descriptions. I think I'm giving more clues away.
I think just don't say something like coral like that, because it was my thing too, where I was like, fuck.
Well,
that
there was
could
a part of me that was trying to make it go either way.
Yeah,
Like,
That's
it
it. I
did.
guess it worked. Fuck it. Keep doing the descriptions. It's great. Don't worry.
Okay,
Here
I'm
we
not
go.
sure.
Number 7
Number
is
7. And you guys did different guesses,
This
so somebody's
is
going to
the
win.
question.
I
It all
thought it
comes
might be
down
a
to
tie
this.
here. I thought it might be a tie. I had a tiebreaker
taken by
already,
the
but-
fucking Minotaur.
Taken by the Minotaur. Amazon erotica.
Yeah!
The champion remains.
Bing, 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 bing.
Tim Gettys 0 for 3.
There you
Okay,
go.
man.
4
I'm here for the
points.
fun, and guess what?
to 3.
I'm having it.
Okay, you play that song again?
It's no game or bullshit.
I didn't do anything.
Well, there we go.
It's no game or bullshit. It's no game or bullshit. Joy's gonna read some stuff and we'll bring you
What did you say after Mobile Gamer Bullshit? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for joining us. What will we do next week on Mobile Game Or? You'll have to come back to find out. Until then, I love you. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. If you did, click here to subscribe. Click here to subscribe to Kind of Funny. Click here to give us money on Patreon. We'd really appreciate that. You get a lot of stuff early. And click right here for whatever cool Greg wants to put. Make it something real cool, Greg.
Got it.